massive mansion stood in complete silence. Sunlight poured through the floor-to-ceiling windows, illuminating the luxurious marble floors and elegant furniture. Once filled with warmth, laughter, and the footsteps of a happy family, the estate now felt strangely empty. Something was missing, and Kang Jun-ho was about to discover exactly what it was. The wedding ring sat in the middle of the dining table. Before we continue, take a second to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss the next chapter of this incredible story. Now, tell me this. If you came home and found only a wedding ring waiting for you on the table, what would be the first thing that comes to your mind? Let me know in the comments below, because what Kang Jun-ho was about to discover would change everything. Beside it was a folded letter. Kang Jun-ho stared at both items without moving. The mansion was silent. No footsteps, no laughter, no sound from his little daughter running through the hallway. Just silence. A cold silence that made his chest tighten. "Amara," he called. No answer. His voice became louder. "Amara." Nothing. He rushed upstairs. The bedroom door was open. The closet was half empty. The shelves were cleared. The photographs that used to decorate the room were gone. His breathing became uneven. Then he noticed something that terrified him more than any enemy ever had. Their daughter's favorite teddy bear was missing. His wife hadn't gone shopping. She hadn't gone to visit a friend. She had left, and she had taken their child with her. Slowly, Jun-ho returned to the dining table. His hands trembled as he unfolded the letter. Before he could read it, his phone rang. His right-hand man. "Boss, are you coming to the meeting?" Jun-ho looked at the empty chair where Amara usually sat. "No." "Boss?" I said no. He ended the call. For the first time in years, business didn't matter. Money didn't matter. Power didn't matter. Because the woman he loved was gone. But before we find out why she left, make sure you subscribe and stay with this story until the end. Because everything began 6 years earlier. Back when Kang Jun-ho was not looking for love, and Amara had no idea her life was about to change forever. 6 years earlier, rain poured over the streets of Seoul. Amara pulled her coat tighter as she hurried home after work. She had spent the entire day cleaning hotel rooms. Her feet hurt, her back hurt, and all she wanted was sleep. As she crossed the road, a speeding motorcycle suddenly lost control. The rider crashed directly into a black luxury car. Screams filled the street. People ran toward the accident. Amara stopped. The car door opened. A tall Korean man stepped out. Expensive suit. Cold expression. Not a scratch on him. Several bodyguards rushed forward. "Boss, are you okay?" Amara frowned. "Boss?" The injured motorcyclist groaned in pain on the road. But the bodyguards were focused only on the rich man. Without hesitation, Amara pushed through the crowd. "Move." The bodyguards stared. "What?" "Move," she repeated. She knelt beside the injured rider. "Call an ambulance." One of the bodyguards scoffed. "Who are you to give orders?" Amara glared at him. Someone with common sense. The crowd gasped. Nobody spoke to those men like that. The Korean man watched silently. Amara removed her scarf and pressed it against the rider's bleeding arm. "It's okay," she said softly. "Help is coming." A few moments later, sirens echoed through the street. Only then did she stand. As she turned to leave, the Korean man stepped in front of her. "You helped him." Amara shrugged. He was hurt. Most people would have recognized Kang Jun-ho immediately, the most feared mafia boss in Seoul. But Amara didn't. She simply looked tired. Jun-ho found that strangely refreshing. "What's your name?" he asked. "Amara, and that's it?" She raised an eyebrow. "Do you usually interrogate strangers?" For the first time, one corner of Jun-ho's mouth lifted. A smile. His bodyguards looked shocked. Amara walked away. Jun-ho watched her disappear into the rain. For reasons he couldn't explain, he couldn't stop looking. 3 weeks later, Amara entered a small convenience store after work. She grabbed instant noodles and headed for the cashier. Then she froze. Standing beside the refrigerator was the same man from the accident, Jun-ho. He looked just as surprised. Amara laughed. "Are you following me?" "No. You keep appearing. Maybe you're following me." She rolled her eyes. The cashier tried not to laugh. Jun-ho stepped closer. "Have dinner with me." Amara blinked. "What?" "Dinner. You don't even know me. I want to." She folded her arms. "And if I say no?" Jun-ho smiled. "Then I'll ask again tomorrow." For the first time in days, Amara laughed, a real laugh, and something happened inside Junho's chest. Something dangerous, because the most feared man in Seoul was beginning to fall in love, and neither of them knew how much pain that love would eventually bring. Subscribe for more. The next evening, Kang Junho was waiting outside Amara's workplace. The moment she stepped out of the building, she stopped walking. "You've got to be kidding me." Junho looked up from his phone. "Good evening." Amara shook her head. "You actually came back. You told me no." "Exactly. So I came back." She couldn't help laughing. There was something ridiculous about a powerful man standing outside for hours just to ask the same question. Junho took a step forward. "Dinner?" Amara sighed dramatically. "You're very stubborn. I've been told that." "Fine." The word left her mouth before she could change her mind. Junho looked genuinely surprised. "Fine? One dinner." His smile appeared immediately. "One dinner." The restaurant overlooked the Han River. The city lights reflected across the water like thousands of stars. Amara stared around the expensive place. "This restaurant probably costs more than my rent." Junho chuckled. "Maybe." She pointed her fork at him. That wasn't a joke. For the next 2 hours they talked. Not about money. Not about power. Not about business. They talked about childhood memories, dreams, embarrassing stories, favorite foods. For the first time in years, Junho forgot about the violent world waiting outside. He simply enjoyed being around her. As the night ended, Amara looked at him curiously. "You know something?" "What?" "You're not what I expected." Junho smiled faintly. "And what did you expect?" A rich, arrogant jerk. His laugh surprised even himself. "That's fair." As Amara walked away that night, she found herself smiling, a feeling she hadn't experienced in a long time. Weeks turned into months. Dinner became coffee. Coffee became walks. Walks became late-night conversations. Before either of them realized it, they had become inseparable. One evening, they sat beside the river watching the sunset. Amara leaned against the railing. "Can I ask you something?" Junho nodded. "Why me? What do you mean?" She looked at him. "You could have anyone." Junho became quiet. Then he answered honestly. "Because you're the first person who sees me as a human being." Amara's expression softened. For a moment, neither spoke. The wind blew gently across the water. Then Junho reached for her hand. She didn't pull away. His heartbeat accelerated. "Amara, yes, I think I'm falling in love with you." The words hung in the air. Amara looked into his eyes. She saw no games, no lies, no manipulation, just sincerity. A nervous smile appeared on her face. "Good." Junho blinked. "Good?" "Because I'm already in love with you." 1 year later, the wedding was small, private, beautiful. Amara wore a simple white dress. Junho couldn't stop staring at her. When she finally reached the altar, he whispered, "You're beautiful." Amara smiled. "And you're nervous. I've faced armed gangs, and this is scarier." She laughed. The guests laughed, and for one perfect moment, everything felt right. The vows were exchanged. The rings were placed. The kiss followed. The crowd erupted in applause. That day, Junho promised himself something. He would protect this woman forever. No matter what, no matter the cost. 2 years later, a little girl ran through the mansion. "Daddy." Junho immediately dropped his phone. His daughter jumped into his arms. Amara walked in behind her. "She's supposed to be sleeping." The little girl giggled. "No sleeping." Junho nodded seriously. "I agree." Amara folded her arms. "Both of you are impossible." The family burst into laughter. Looking at them together, it seemed perfect. A loving wife, a beautiful daughter, a successful husband, everything he had ever wanted. But happiness can make people careless. And somewhere in the shadows, temptation was already approaching, waiting patiently, ready to destroy everything. One night, during a business event, a glamorous woman approached Junho. She smiled confidently. "Mr. Kang." Junho looked up. "Yes?" The woman extended her hand. "My name is Yuna." He shook it politely. What seemed like an ordinary introduction would soon become the biggest mistake of his life. Subscribe because it's getting more intense. The music in the VIP lounge was soft, expensive, controlled. Kang Junho stood near the bar, speaking with business partners when she appeared again. Yuna. She moved like she already belonged there, confident, deliberate. She smiled as she approached. "Mr. Kang, we meet again." Junho nodded politely. Yes, she tilted her head slightly. You left before I could properly introduce myself last night. I was busy. Yuna smiled like that answer amused her. Men like you are always busy. Junho didn't respond. Across the room, Amara's name flashed on his phone. A message. Don't come home late. Our daughter is waiting. Junho's expression softened instantly. I have to go, he said. But Yuna stepped slightly closer. Just enough to block his path. Just 5 minutes, she said. Junho hesitated. That hesitation was the first crack. 1 month later, the cracks became routine. Meetings that lasted too long. Drinks he didn't mention. Messages he deleted before going home. And Yuna was always there, always nearby, always smiling. You think too much, she told him one night. Junho frowned. I don't think about you at all. Yuna laughed softly. That's not true. He didn't answer, but he didn't leave either. At home, Amara noticed the silence first. Junho was present, but not present. He smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. One night, she sat across from him at dinner. Are you okay? Junho looked up. Yes, you've been distant. I'm just tired. Amara studied him carefully. Of what? A pause. Work. She didn't believe him, but she didn't push further. Not yet. The turning point came on a rainy night. Junho told Amara he had an urgent business meeting. She nodded. Come back early. I will. But he didn't. Instead, he sat in a private lounge with Yuna. Wine glasses on the table. Soft music playing. You look stressed, Yuna said. Junho exhaled. It's nothing. Nothing makes you lie to your wife? His eyes snapped up. What did you say? Yuna leaned back calmly. You're not a man who lies easily, unless it's becoming a habit. Junho stood up. Don't talk about my wife. Yuna smiled faintly, so she still matters. That silence said everything. At home, Amara waited. 9 p.m., 10 p.m., 11:30 p.m. The door finally opened after midnight. Junho walked in, his tie slightly loosened, his expression unreadable. You're late, Amara said softly. Meeting ran long. She stared at him. You've been saying that a lot. Junho removed his shoes slowly. I'm doing this for us. Amara blinked. For us? Yes. Then why does it feel like you're disappearing from us? Junho froze. For a second, something almost broke inside him. But he said nothing. He walked past her. That night, Amara didn't sleep. Something had changed, and she could feel it in her bones. 2 weeks later. She saw the message. Junho's phone lit up on the table while he showered. Yuna, I miss you. Are you coming tonight? Amara didn't move. She just stared. When Junho returned, she was holding the phone. Silence filled the room instantly. What is this? Amara asked quietly. Junho's face changed. Amara, don't. Her voice shook. Just don't lie to me. He stepped forward. It's not what you think. Amara laughed bitterly. I saw the message, Junho. He stopped. For the first time, he had no words. Amara placed the phone down carefully. I trusted you. I never stopped loving you, he said quickly. But that wasn't enough. Not anymore. Tears filled her eyes. You didn't stop loving me. She shook her head slowly. You just stopped choosing me. Junho reached for her. Amara, please. She stepped back, and that distance changed everything. That night she packed quietly. No shouting, no chaos, only silence. The same silence Junho had come home to in the beginning. Only now, it was his punishment. As she zipped the final bag, Junho stood in the doorway. You're leaving? He asked. Amara didn't look at him. I already left, I just didn't tell you yet. Junho's voice broke slightly. Where will you go? She finally looked at him, and her eyes were empty. Somewhere I don't have to compete for my husband's love. A pause. Junho stepped closer. Please don't take her. Amara froze. Then she spoke softly. She's not yours alone. And that was the last night their family ever felt who. Subscribes because it's getting more intense. The house felt wrong without them. Junho stood in the middle of the living room long after Amara left. No shouting, no slammed doors, just silence again. But this silence was heavier than before. Because this time, it was his fault. He walked slowly to the dining table. The ring was gone. So was the letter she had left behind. Only a faint mark remained where it had been placed, like a memory refusing to disappear. Junho pressed his hand against the table. For the first time, his power meant nothing. His money meant nothing. His empire meant nothing, because he could not command love back into the house. 3 days earlier, Amara sat in her friend's apartment, holding her daughter tightly. "You're really leaving him?" her friend asked. Amara didn't answer immediately. Her eyes were tired. "I already left emotionally," she said softly. Her friend sighed. "Because of that woman?" Amara nodded. "I can forgive mistakes." Her voice shook slightly. "But I can't share my husband with another woman." Her daughter pulled on her sleeve. "Mummy, are we going home?" Amara forced a smile. "No, baby. We're going somewhere new." Back in the present, Junho called her phone again. It rang, then stopped. Voicemail, again, voicemail, again, voicemail. He threw his phone onto the couch. "Damn it." His right-hand man entered cautiously. "Boss, find her," Junho ordered immediately. "No matter what it takes." The man hesitated. "Boss," she left voluntarily. "There's no trace yet." Junho turned sharply. "Then make one." The room went cold. No one argued after that. Amara had already crossed into another district. Small apartment. Quiet neighborhood. Far from luxury. Far from power. Her daughter slept beside her on a thin mattress. Amara stared at the ceiling. Her phone lit up again, unknown number. She ignored it. Then again and again. Finally, she turned it off. A tear rolled down her cheek. But she didn't cry loudly. She couldn't. Because she had to stay strong for her child. "I did the right thing," she whispered to herself. But her voice didn't sound convinced. Junho's search intensified. Every contact, every business partner, every hidden channel. Nothing. It was like she had erased herself. Then his men brought a lead. A hotel security footage. A woman matching Amara's description. With a child. Getting into a taxi. Junho watched the screen silently. His jaw tightened. "Where is this taxi going?" "Unknown, boss. But we're tracking the route." Junho leaned forward. His eyes dark. "She's trying to disappear." A pause. His voice lowered. "She doesn't understand something." His men waited. Junho continued. "No one disappears from me." But even as he said it, something inside him felt wrong. Because, for the first time in his life, he wasn't chasing an enemy. He was chasing the woman who once loved him more than anything. And deep down he already knew. This time, winning would still feel like losing. Amara stood at a small convenience store late at night. She bought milk for her daughter. As she walked out, she froze. A black car passed slowly, windows tinted. She didn't see inside, but she felt it. Like eyes watching her, she quickly pulled her daughter closer. "Let's go," she whispered. They walked faster. Behind them, the car stopped briefly, then drove away. Inside the car, Junho finally lowered the window slightly, just enough to see her silhouette disappearing into the night. His hand tightened. "Found you," he said quietly, but he didn't smile, because what he saw wasn't victory. It was a broken family trying to survive him, and for the first time, Kang Junho wasn't sure what scared him more, losing her or what he had already become. Before you watch what happens next, take a second and hit that subscribe button, because the story is far from over. Right now, Amara believes walking away was the only way to protect herself and her daughter. After everything she endured, she chose peace over pain and distance over betrayal. But Kang Junho has finally found her. And for the first time in his life, the powerful billionaire who could control businesses, influence people, and command loyalty with a single word is facing something he cannot force: a broken heart. The question is no longer whether he can find Amara. He already has. The real question is what happens when he stands in front of her again. Will Amara give him another chance? Will Junho finally accept responsibility for the damage he caused? Or will the secrets, regrets, and wounds between them destroy any hope of rebuilding their family? And what about their daughter? Because the choices made in the next chapter won't only affect Junho and Amara. They could change the future of their child forever. The emotional confrontation you've been waiting for is coming, and trust me, you do not want to miss it. So if you're enjoying this story and want to see part 2 immediately when it drops, subscribe right now, turn on notifications, and stay with us. Because the next chapter is more emotional, more intense, and more shocking than anything you've seen so far. Subscribe now for part 2.